Hold on to your helmets, F1 fans. There's a bombshell in the Red Bull camp. Christian Horner spilled the beans, revealing a surprising weakness in Sergio Perez's game. As we gear up for the 2024 season, Horner emphasizes the urgency for Perez to up his upcoming performances. What's the deal behind the scenes? Christian Horner is about to unravel it all. So, rev up your engines and let's dive into this video today to uncover the shocking truth about Perez's struggles. Perez and Verstappen were pretty close in the championship, winning 2 races each at the start. But in the Miami Grand Prix, things looked good for Perez as he started from the best spot, pole position, while his teammate Verstappen was back in 9th place on the starting grid. Verstappen didn't do well in the qualifying rounds because of a messy first lap. His second chance was ruined when Charles Leclerc caused a stop with red flags. Horner, the team boss, emphasized how important it was for Perez to avoid having to make a comeback like they often did last season. Even though Perez had a strong start with 2 pole positions and 2 wins in the first 5 races, he struggled to keep up that performance. There was a tough period for Perez where he couldn't get into the top qualifying sessions for 5 races in a row, from Monaco to Silverstone. That really hurt his chances to get more points. This allowed his teammate Verstappen to have an easier time winning his 3rd championship in a row. Towards the end of the season, Perez did better, but he still had trouble doing well in the one-lap qualifying sessions. His average position on the starting grid for the last 7 races was 8.8, while Verstappen got pole position 4 times. Horner said, "Perez has to sort it out." Speaking to Sky Sports, Horner expressed his happiness with how Perez did on race days. But he pointed out that Perez needs to do better in qualifying to avoid facing unnecessary challenges. He said, "He started the season in great form. He turned up in Bahrain, and he was very competitive. He won the next race out in Saudi, again a very strong drive on a tricky street circuit. In Azerbaijan, he won the Sprint and Grand Prix. Even though Perez did well on race days, he missed a big chance." Horner said that not being able to take the opportunity to become the first Mexican driver leading the Formula One World Championship marked the end of Perez's chance to win the title. During the Grand Prix, Perez started well, but Verstappen quickly moved up to 2nd place behind him. Verstappen then overtook Perez on lap 48 and won the race by 5 seconds. Further, Horner shared more insights, explaining how Perez's title challenge took a hit after the Miami Grand Prix. He said, "I think at that point, he was genuinely feeling that he was building a title challenge." In Miami, Verstappen faced difficulties in qualifying, starting from the 9th position, while Perez was in pole position. According to Horner, it was an easy chance for Perez to lead the championship, but things went wrong. And within the race's first quarter, Max has passed all those cars, and then Checo. After Miami, Perez went to Monaco but made a mistake in the qualifying session. This knocked him out, and as Horner put it, the wheels start to come off that championship challenge and then insecurity starts to set in as Max is finding his form. Seeing Verstappen's strong performances, Perez might have doubted himself, Horner explained, and of course he's sitting there looking at this data and thinking, how the hell has he done that? And then a little bit of self-doubt creeps in, which is inevitable. Despite the challenges, Perez managed to pull himself together later in the season. Horner acknowledged, "Fair play to Checo for getting himself together, finishing the season on a much stronger note, and finishing 2nd in the World Championship. This is the first time we've ever had drivers 1st and 2nd in the Drivers' World Championship." Horner further continued to discuss Perez's performance, emphasizing the need for improvement in the starting positions for races. He said, "His race pace is there, his racecraft is fantastic, he's probably overtaken more cars than anybody this year, but we just need him to be starting in the first 4 rather than 9th or 10th, whatever his average has been over the last few races." Acknowledging Perez's recent progress, Horner mentioned, "I think the last few races he's had a bit of a reset. His pace, when you look at the analysis through weekend, again was very strong. He's just got to sort his Saturdays out." Despite the challenges, Horner highlighted Perez's achievements, saying, "He still finished 2nd in the 2023 World Championship. He's won some great races, Jeddah and Baku, and done some great driving, but I think he knows where to improve. I think there will also be a bit of a reset on how he manages his racing for next year." Horner expressed confidence in Perez's ability to bounce back, stating, "He knows this is a big year for him. He'll take some time this winter to think about where he needs to improve, and I'm sure he'll be back fighting next year. Looking at the overall season, Verstappen had a significant lead over Perez with 290 points. Horner acknowledged the importance of both drivers in maintaining Red Bull's success, especially with competitors aiming to close the gap during the winter break. Regarding Perez's contract, Horner mentioned Sergio Perez will be in the final year of his contract with Red Bull Racing in 2024, which will put even more pressure on the Mexican's shoulders. Christian Horner pinpoints Sergio Perez's biggest weakness. Further, Horner talked about Perez's performance, highlighting a challenging period after a crash in Monaco. He explained, crashing in qualifying at the Monaco Grand Prix, Perez went 5 qualifying sessions without a top 10 performance. Despite breaking that streak in Hungary, Perez faced more struggles in subsequent qualifying sessions. After the Monaco incident, Perez found securing top positions in the qualifying rounds difficult. Horner noted, leaving himself too much to do in the Grand Prix, he managed just 5 podiums after his Monaco crash. Horner also shared insights into a competitive on-track battle between Red Bull drivers, saying the drivers were engaged in some gamesmanship and they both drove aggressively. It was entertaining, fun, and competitive racing to watch. He clarified that the competition was fair, marking another podium for Perez after his earlier second-place result in the sprint race. Commenting on Perez's performance, Horner mentioned, race analysis shows that Perez had a strong pace, and he redeemed himself with an impressive performance. However, he shouldn't have had to work as hard, referring to Perez's challenging 15th-place qualification. Horner acknowledged that Perez might be putting too much pressure on himself, stating, "Sometimes I think he puts too much pressure on himself." He defined the importance of improving performance on Saturdays, saying, "You have just got to be honest with the drivers, and for Checo, he just needs to sort his Saturdays out." Regarding Perez's overall season, Horner pointed out, Perez finished the season with 285 points to beat Lewis Hamilton to second place by 51 points. He thought it was a long way off Verstappen's 575 points. Despite the challenges, Perez secured a commendable position but faced a significant points gap compared to Verstappen. Perez admits his weakness. Perez's podium drought ended in Spielberg and he secured a third-place finish despite starting from 15th place. Perez expressed his challenges during the race. "It took me a bit longer to overtake. I was on the inside of turn 4 when suddenly a Haas car was on the inside, causing me to back off. It took longer than I expected, but we eventually made it." Opening up about his tough weekend, Perez revealed, "It was a challenging weekend for me, especially from a physical standpoint." He had missed the media day due to illness but returned to the car on Friday, though not in the best condition. "I didn't recover well during the night. I had a fever, and when you take medication, you're not at 100%, explained Perez, highlighting the seriousness of his weakened condition. The exact illness remained undisclosed. But with a demanding schedule of 4 races in June, Perez faced a tight turnaround. Expressing concern for the upcoming race at Silverstone, he said, "I hope to recover in the coming days because Silverstone will be another tough and demanding race." Despite his health challenges, Perez was thrilled to be back on the podium, especially at Red Bull's home race in Austria. Perez said, "We had to fight our way forward. We had great pace and engaging battles, reflecting on the challenging but rewarding race. In the end, it's a good result, especially considering I wasn't at 100% physically. But with the adrenaline pumping, you forget everything else," Perez commented. When asked if he felt back on form with this result, Perez responded, "Yes, certainly without the issues on Friday. We had a good pace right from the start and we were able to address the problems we faced in previous races. I believe we are back on track." So what do you think of the shocking weakness of Sergio Perez shared by Horner? Comment below and subscribe for more.